Estamos de volta com notícias do campo especial com Belinda Hopkins. Ela é diretora do Transform Conflict, uma organização que oferece suporte, desenvolvimento e ajuda na área da abordagem restaurativa. E eu gostaria de saber da professora, a abordagem restaurativa, ela é baseada na filosofia da justiça restaurativa?
Restorative justice provides the underlying values and principles and to some extent the practices of what we do in schools. But over the years, we have gradually understood that we need to develop a culture that will support the ideas of restorative justice. So our work in school now is both proactive, building safe, respectful communities, and then also responsive, reactive, when things go wrong. So they are very closely related, but they are different.
Quais são as principais vantagens de se adotar a abordagem restaurativa no ambiente escolar?
Over the years, there has been an increasing amount of research done on the impact of a restorative approach in school. And when I say school, I'm talking about school from the children aged 5 through to 18, and I'm also talking about young people who maybe have been put out of a school and are in a special unit. So all sorts of children. We have discovered that by encouraging youngsters to take more responsibility for their behaviour, by working with the teachers right from the beginning to identify how they want things to be in the classroom, developing their own school rules and reflecting when things go wrong, and being given a chance to put things right when they go wrong, the children become more sensitive to each other's needs. They are more respectful towards the staff. The staff develop more confidence to deal with difficult situations. The impact is both positive for the students, for the teachers, and for the whole school environment.
O que significa bullying?
One of the major contributions that restorative approach can make is in this area of bullying. I don't want to get too caught up in definitions of bullying. We can spend a lot of time saying what is bullying, what is not bullying. But for example, when some people misuse their power, their professional power, because adults can bully too, their professional power or their personal power to make life unhappy for somebody else, not just once but over time. That would be my loose definition. And sadly there is bullying in the workplace, there is bullying in the school staff room, and there can be bullying in classrooms and corridors. That would be how I would define bullying.
Como que as práticas restaurativas podem ajudar nos casos de bullying? E como que é feita essa abordagem nesses casos?
Bullying has different forms. Sometimes it can be very minor. It can be maybe one child looking unpleasantly at another, saying unpleasant things over time. Very, very nasty, very unpleasant for the person on the receiving end, but not dangerous. So that's one level, and at the other level it can actually involve violence. The restorative approach can offer something both at a preventative level but also as a response. At a preventative level, we are offering strategies to teachers to try and create a lot more, a greater sense of community in the classroom by, for example, developing the use of sitting in circle. Each person sharing some contribution, how they are that day or something they've done, maybe a game, maybe working in pairs, maybe working in small groups, to develop a sense of belonging and connection. Any teacher can do this. It works whether you're teaching maths or history or geography. So the pedagogy can actually start to break down the barriers between students within a class, and this already can dramatically reduce bullying because there is a healthy relationship in the class. In the more serious cases, I would be using something like which we call a restorative conference. Now this is where you actually involve the parents of both the youngster who is bullying and the youngster who has been bullied. Notice I do not use the word bully and I do not use the word victim. The reason for this is because actually most children who end up bullying have themselves been bullied. So they are both bully and victim. The overlap is huge. May not be in school, might be at home. And to stick a label on a child as a bully, I think is a very dangerous thing to do. It is, we have this expression, to totalize. No person is just, is the total of their one action. There are other things in that child. So I always describe it as a verb. It is the person who has committed the bullying. Similarly, it is very dangerous to label somebody as a victim. There's a whole association around that word which can reduce self-esteem and make it difficult for that person to cope and to move on. This meeting would first of all have had a lot of preparation. Private conversations with everybody who will attend the meeting to give everybody, the youngsters, maybe the members of staff, the parents or carers, a chance to talk through how they have been affected by what's happened and to build up a sense of trust and confidence in the facilitator, because it is the same, the facilitator has these private meetings. Then, if it is thought that it will be safe, and if everybody is willing to attend, and those are two big if, a meeting is convened, is organised. And the meeting takes place with everybody given a chance to explain what has happened. The youngster who has committed this bullying has to go through a very uncomfortable experience of listening to all these people and the impact their actions have had on the parents of the other child and their own parents. It is a very, very hard process. Now, they go down they may come in a little bit, oh, I don't care, but this is a mask, because actually in the meeting they gradually realise just what they have done, and there is a terrible experience for many of them of remorse and of shame. And then the second half of the meeting is, what are you going to do now to put things right? And they are invited to come up with suggestions. The person who's been victimised explains what they need as well. Of course, what do they need? They need it to stop. They need to feel safe. They need to understand why it was happening. So we must think about helping not only the person who victimised, but also the person who's been doing the bullying. We must look after both. They are young people, and they have the capacity to change.